Joe. I'm from the ARC Loan Achievement Center. Just want to say hi to all of you and let you all know that we know you've all been staying home for a really long time, and everybody here at ARC just really hopes that you're all, doing well and being safe and staying healthy, and we all really miss you guys a lot. And so we wanted to do some of these videos to give you guys something to do and to help stay in touch with all of you. So what I'm going to be doing today is talking to you guys about a hobby that I've been involved in for most of my life, nearly 40 years, and that is collecting sports cards. You'll have heard of baseball cards. It's something I've been doing since I was very young. And so what I would like to discuss regarding the baseball cards is how to take care of them, because they can be valuable, and they're only valuable if they're in good condition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off, and I want to show you guys some of the things that I have from when I was much younger, from maybe 20, 30 years ago, because the cases and the different types of things that you can put your cards in have changed over the years. So starting off, I'm going to show you guys some of these. I've had these cases for a really long time. Like I said, I've been collecting forever. And these ones are ones that lift open on the top here. And you can see that it holds quite a bit of cards. This one holds probably about 50 cards or so. And these ones are great. I like them a lot, but the one drawback with these ones, as you see, trying to get the cards in there, you saw that it was a little bit of a struggle because it's kind of full. And also when you have it full like that, it snaps in, and sometimes you might get the edges of your cards caught in the sides there, and it could do a little bit of damage to the cards. So I don't keep very valuable cards in these ones. You can see they have different sizes here. This one's much thinner, but it's the same concept. It opens and closes like that. It just snaps. And they have very thin ones here too. These ones only hold about 10 cards or so. And they also open up. They snap real nice shut, but they're the older version of some of like the cases that open from the top like that. So what they did to improve on the opening and closing part that can smash your cards, they made these kinds, where the top lifts right off the top here. Oh, this one's sticking a little bit. But you can see that that piece there just slides right on top. So as long as you don't have it real full and your card's hanging over the edge or anything, if you're very gentle, you can just slide it right on there. And there's a lot less risk of damaging the cards than these ones over here that flip open. And you can see that, here's another one that's thicker. That one does the same thing there. And just to get your cards back in, you're just real gentle. So it's a newer style. They've been making these for quite some time, but they didn't have these when I was a kid. So I like these ones quite a bit more, easier to open, make sure you don't hurt your cards. And then also they do make bigger ones too. I brought this real big one here to show you guys. This one holds, I don't know, about 100, 200 cards almost. And this one's just a real nice case that just slides open like that. Keeps your cards in real good condition. So that's some of the cases that are meant for holding a larger amount of cards. Now, what I want to show you is what cards are not supposed to look like. And that's this stack here. Okay. Here's a card that's in really terrible shape. If you have a card that looks like that, you should probably get rid of it. Same with this one here. This is what a card looks like if it's been, handled very, very poorly. And some of the other things that I wanted to point out is, like you can see here, like on this card, even a very small crease, which you can see up here in the top corner. It's kind of faint, but it is there. Little creases like that, they take away the value of your cards. Other things that take away value of your cards is, like, if you look at the edge of this one here, see how it's scratched up, and you can see that the coloring is coming off there. So that's going to devalue your card. Also up here, something that's really common is right here, if you see there's a little white piece, it's called a dog ear. And that's when the corner gets damaged and it gets bent back a little bit. And that's a very common problem with cards, because obviously they're very fragile. They're made out of cardboard. And So you want to avoid that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm trying to show you guys here, is why I use all of these different cases and different combinations of things to protect my cards, because they're not worth anything if they look like these ones that I just showed you. And you want them to be in real nice condition. So I'm going to get rid of those ones. They're going in the trash as soon as the video is over. Here's a very common type of a card case. This is what's called a top loader. And you can see it's made out of kind of harder plastic. The cards, they don't typically fall out on their own. You usually have to kind of open it up a little bit, maybe give it a tap like that, and then you can pull your card right out. And then you can also see that there's another very thin plastic sleeve around this card. That's to prevent it from getting damaged when you put it inside the harder case. These little sleeves are real flimsy, but they can damage your cards too. So when you're putting the card into this little tiny sleeve, the best thing to do is to put it in corner first, get it in there, and then kind of slide it in like that. And once you get it in there, same, be careful, give it a little opening, go in kind of at an angle, and then just gently push your card down in, and then you can kind of get it a tap to get it all the way in there, and your card's still in real nice condition. So you can see I keep some of my cards that are a little more nicer, but not real expensive. Those are the ones that I'll keep in these kind of containers here. They're real quick and easy to get in and out. So that's called a top loader. So moving on, the next one that you have here, this is a harder case. This little one here is hard. You can see I'm banging it on the table. It's hard plastic. Now these ones, they just pop open. So these ones give you a little bit more protection. These ones just pop right off the top here. And get my fingernail in there. There it goes. You can see they're not real easy to open. You just take the top right off of there, and then your card's inside. This is a pretty cool card. This is the one I had for quite a while. This is one, it's called a Jersey Touch card. It's got pieces of jerseys from 2 players. So there's actually like a little piece of jersey that they wore in a game, they cut it up and they put it inside there. So I want to make sure that that stays clean, doesn't get any damage on it. So that's why I keep it in this case here. Now the one thing about these little cases that just pop open on the top is that they just kind of snap in. You can, just kind of press it and it snaps together. But if you drop this, it could pop open. This could potentially, if you dropped it on like a hard floor or even on a surface like this table here, it could potentially pop open because it's just a thing that snaps together. So, these ones are good, but they're not the best. But I do use them. Here's another card here. That one's got a piece of a bat in it, that the player used the bat in a game, and then afterwards they chopped the bat up into a bunch of pieces and they put it on about 300 or 400 different cards. So a little more rare, kind of valuable. There's somebody everyone recognizes, I think, Michael Jordan. Most of his cards are pretty valuable, so keep his in good cases. Now here, I'm gonna move these over. We already talked about those too. These are my favorite cases. These ones here. These are what's called a screw down, and it's hard plastic. You can see it's about twice as thick as the one that snaps onto the top there. These ones are great. These are what I keep all of my most valuable cards in, because these things are very hard, and you can see it's got the little screw on the top there. That actually screws in and keeps it from opening. So you could literally throw this card across the room, and as long as it doesn't smash because you threw a fastball, your card will be perfectly fine. They don't fall out. You just take a little screwdriver, you open it up, and there's actually like a little indentation in there too. This is not flat plastic that's pressing on the card. I don't know if you can hear that on the video, but you can hear the card moving around in there. It's got a little groove, a little space that's lowered, so the card just rests in there real nice and easy. It's not getting pressed on. Very, very safe. So that's what I keep all of my very best cards in. And I brought a few of them to show you guys. You know, this one's a real old card. That's Wilt Chamberlain. You know, he's no longer with us anymore, but one of the greats. I think everybody knows this guy. We all miss him. Kobe Bryant, that's a rookie card. This card's worth about $60. So that's why I keep it in one of these very nice cases. Who else we got here? Yeah, some of these cards kind of focus on my favorite teams. I'm an LA fan. There's Eric Dickerson, card that's autographed by him. So pretty nice card. That's why I have it in the hard case. There's another one. There's Tom Seaver, our local guy. He just passed away. You know, it's a real old card. So I like to keep it in that good one there. There's a couple more. There's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And then this one here I'd like to show you. This is a card. This is a special card. It's got a piece of jersey, just like the baseball one I showed you guys a few minutes ago. This one's got a football player uniform in it. The piece of the uniform is kind of thick. So this case is actually a little bit different than the other ones. If you take a look at this one with the Wilt Chamberlain real old card, it's like paper thin. Now if I hold this one up, you can see that there's a very thick card inside there. It's got a real extra deep space for thick cards because some cards are made real thick like that. If you got one that's valuable, keep it in one of these because it will not open. The only way you're going to ruin your cards is if it's in water or fire. But they're not going to break. They're not going to get damaged in any kind of way at all. There's a variety of other things that you can use as well. This is a lot of the basic stuff just for stacks of cards and then also for individual cards. But there's a lot of things you can find out there when you go shopping around at hobby shops and at the baseball card stores. You know, I've got a few of these at home. I brought this one in to share with you guys. This one is a case that holds 3 cards together. Those are all Tony Gwynn rookie cards. And so I put the 3 of them together in this case that screws down on all the corners and on the sides there. It's a real nice way to display your cards if you have something where you can stand it up. So, you know, a little variety, just get some things in there that, you know, they match. It's all the same player. Some of the other stuff that I brought in to show you guys. Here's like you know, they make jumbo cards too. Everything I've shown you so far are just standard cards, but they make jumbo cards. So here's a jumbo Kobe Bryant card that I have. And so I found a case that's a little bit bigger and it screws on all 4 sides there and it keeps that big card safe because it won't fit in that little one. It's a jumbo. So there's specialty little cases as well. Same thing here. This is the same kind of case. This isn't a card. This is a commemorative envelope which commemorates Jackie Robinson joining the Major League Baseball back in 1947. Very big deal for not just baseball, but the whole world. Great guy. And something else I wanted to show you guys here too is that some cards are not perfectly rectangular. You'll see that there's a lot of cards that will be cut to shape, kind of like this one. And that means when it says cut to shape, that means that it's got grooves and different patterns around the edges of it. These ones can look really cool. But they can also be really fragile because they've got a lot of, you know, instead of just 4 corners to worry about, sometimes you have a lot of different corners. You can see there's 2 corners there, 2 corners there, these like ruffly edges around the side. So definitely when you have something like this, you want to make sure that you pick the right case to put it in. Personally, if this card were real valuable, I'd probably have it in one of these screw downs that I was showing you, because it just gives it a lot of room and don't have to worry about the card when it's inside there. So I just wanted to show you guys, not all cards are perfectly square or rectangle. Now, the other way that you can store your cards, it's pretty common, is in a binder, like this, just like you take to school. They sell these pages that hold 9 cards each. You can see the page, it's kind of flexible. There's little slots inside here for the cards. They're kind of like the top loader cases that I showed you. The cards just slide right into the top there. So you can see when I turn it this way here, if you want to take them out, move them around, just take a look at them. You just kind of stick your finger in the back there. You pull it out real nice and gentle and you've got your card out. These things are flimsy, so you don't want to be rough with them when you're flipping the pages or you could bend your cards. Now when you want to go put them back in there, I'll take another one out so we can see. You can take that one out there. Now if I want to put it back in the other case, I'm going to lift a little bit, same thing as before, sideways, always move to the side. Don't go straight down. When you go straight down, that's when your cars get damaged. So you're going to take it and slide it like this, real gentle until the whole thing's in there, and then just very gently push it down. And don't push too hard or you might dent the top of the card too when you're pushing it in at the end. This is a real nice way to display your cards if you have collections that you care for. You know, I brought another binder to show you guys. Like, I like to use the binders because you know, I'll maybe make a binder of like one of my favorite players. This is Eric Davis from the 1980s, one of my favorite players of all time. You know, this is a book that is all cards on his. So that's the thing that's kind of cool about a book, is you can have a theme with your book. You can put sets. You can put a set of 100 cards. You can make a book. I've got some things that are this thick. It's got sets of about 800 cards in them. So these are just a real nice way to be able to keep your cards safe, protected, but you can very quickly pull it out and hand it to somebody and they can look at it like a book and check out your collection. So that's something that I have quite a few of my cards in as well, is these binders. Just really, I guess the main thing is just important what kind of cards you have, how you want to display them, and how valuable they are is going to determine what kind of case you want to put them in. So that's all the different kinds of cases that I brought to show you guys, but wanted to show you a couple of other tools real quick as well. When you're looking at the cards, you know, I've got these ones over here that were a little bit damaged. Well, sometimes the flaws aren't as noticeable as like on those cards that were really crinkled up. Sometimes it might be really small. So you might want to use something that will magnify it for you. You can use a standard magnifying glass, one that you can just buy at an office shop or Target, anything like that. Some of the stuff that I have that I like to use, I've got this little eyepiece here. This magnifies it quite a bit. You can just put this right up to your eye and bring the card to you, and it really magnifies it. And if there's a very small blemish on the corner around the edges, you can see that when you can't see it with your naked eye. So I have that. I also have this there. This is a jeweler's loop, which is intended for looking at diamonds and other gemstones, but it works great on your cards. You can hold it, bring the cards right up to your eye there and focus it, and you can really see the small details and see if the card's in really good condition or if it's in so-so condition, but just looks good to the naked eye. So I've always got these with me when I want to look at my cards. If I get new cards and I want to kind of get an idea of what kind of condition they're in, I look at them closely with my little pieces that magnify them. The other thing, you know, a lot of people say you should wear gloves and things like that. I'm not really into wearing the gloves. Some people say that you shouldn't open these and touch the jersey pieces. You know, I'm not going to open this up and handle it constantly. I don't want to get the oils from my fingers or any dirt or anything that's on my fingers on this, you know, over and over again. But they're my cards. I like to enjoy them, so I do open them up. You know, I'll touch them a little bit, but you just want to kind of be gentle. Make sure you're not getting too handsy with your cards. So the last stuff that I wanted to show you guys real quick is the reason that you do all this is to keep them in good shape. Like I said earlier, you want to keep your cards in good condition, so that way they're valuable. You don't want them to be messed up, because they'll lose their value. If they get messed up enough, they'll have no value. Some of these things that I brought in here are pretty valuable. I've got quite a few more that are valuable. I want them to stay nice. So that's why I look at them with the magnifiers. And these magazines that I brought in here to show you guys, these are pricing guides. They have these magazines. The number one price guide out there is the Beckett. And when I was a kid, all they made was one Beckett just for baseball. And then they started making them for football and then for basketball. And now they even have two baseball ones. This is the baseball, the current one. They also make one of baseball cards that are old. So they make two different magazines now. These magazines, you open it up, you use it to look up your cards. You can see that there's about 1 million different things listed in there. But you look on your cards when you want to find out how much they're worth. You can see like the back of the card has a number 7. So what you do is you look up the brand of the card, the year of the card, and then you find the number and you go down on the column on here and it'll list it and it'll tell you how much it's worth. Might say it's worth a nickel, might say it's worth $10, could be worth 1,000, just depends on the card. But these are your guides to figuring out how much your cards are worth. And part of the reason that I wanted to explain it and how it relates to keeping your cards in good condition and using the cases is, if you can see in the price guide here, you see that there's 2 columns of prices on every single card listed. Now, the first column that's on the inner part there, that's for a card that's in good condition. The one on the outside is for a card that is in mint condition. So that's why I wanted to point it out, because taking better care of your cards will keep them in mint condition. A card that's only in good condition will have those little blemishes that I was showing you, the little dog ears or the scrapes on the sides, little tiny little creases that you might not be able to see right away. Those can take the value down. So if you have your cards that are in very, very pristine condition, really nice condition, then you can usually assume that they're over here in this column. So it gives you kind of a range to figure out how much your cards are worth. And one other quick little thing that I almost forgot that I wanted to show you guys was, where is that card? I had one other one that I want to show you guys. Okay, this is something that has to do with the value of your cards. You don't have any control over it when you buy cards in packs. But if you go into a store and you're wanting to buy a card that's just an individual card, it's of a player that you like, the border on the card makes a difference. So if you look over here on this card here that I brought in, you can see that the border is more narrow on this side than it is over on this side. If the card is more centered, that increases the value. So believe it or not, even though it has nothing to do with anything that you did, it's the manufacturer, and there was a much bigger problem back in like the 70s and the 80s of cards being miscut. It'll take the value of the card down. If it's perfectly centered, it might be a perfect mint card. If it's off-centered like this, or even more dramatically, it could take it down and it is not considered a mint card anymore. So keep an eye out if you're out purchasing things for yourself too. So just a hobby, like I said, hobby I've been doing for my whole life. It's something that I enjoy, relaxes me. You know, I can just go out and every once in a while look for things that I might want to add to my collection. And so I know a lot of you guys out there are sports fans. A lot of you guys enjoy some of this kind of stuff too. And I just wanted to show you guys what I've done for my whole life to take care of my cards, keep them in good condition, because believe it or not, some of this stuff that you've seen I have had for the last 20, 30 plus years. Not all of these are brand new. I've been building this collection since I was about 8 years old. So I hope you guys enjoyed what I shared with you about keeping your cards in good shape. And a lot of you guys out there probably know me. So if you have any questions, just feel free to ask me whenever you get to see me. I hope that's real soon. You guys all take care, and we'll talk to you again. Thanks.